Hello there, it's Lorraine for Peartree Cutfiles today, sharing a lovely layout for the Peartree Cutfiles first birthday celebration hop. So I'm going to be using the Rainbows and Clouds cut file and these lovely items from the Maggie Holmes latest release garden party. I'm going to be using a slightly patterned background for this cut file, which doesn't quite show in the video too well, but it's like a blue on a lighter blue. So here I am painting the cut file, which I've cut on just standard textured cardstock in white. I've done that to around about 9.5 to 10 inches in width, so it fits right across my page. So I'm just taking the paintbrush and slightly watered down, added some water to some shimmers paint there. It's a lovely tealy blue with like a gold undertones to it. So it's got a nice sheen. So I just popped that aside to dry, and coming in there with the inner pieces of the clouds cut out. And I want to make them a little bit more interesting rather than just white cardstock. So I'm taking some Vicky Bouton moulding paste. So a lovely textured paste there, and a stencil from Echo Park, which has got lots of little hearts on. I'm just sticking that down onto my glass mat with a bit of masking tape to keep that still. And just coming in there with some of that lovely moulding paste. Just scraping that over, making sure each of those clouds has a nice covering of the paste. So there they are, just stuck on that white cardstock at the moment, and they've peeled them off, and there they are as individual clouds. So I've decided to add just a wash of a shimmery watercolour there. You can see there on the right of my screen. That's just a basic set from a local hobbycraft store, under £5. Really lovely colours and sheens for this effect. So when I just go over the pieces of the white, which is the moulding paste dried through that stencil, just pops out from that shaded colour. I've used tones of like a raspberry pink, a lighter pink, and then a grey and blue mixed together to give it a bluey tone of clouds that are going to burst with rain, but still has a nice pretty effect, and not sort of a heavy gloomy cloud effect. The photo that I'm using, you can see there on the left of the screen, is actually of my granddaughter and her best friend. They're being bridesmaids for her mum, my daughter, that day, and it rained heavy. The heavens opened, but made some great photos. So that's the photo I'm going to be using. So I want to create some sparkle, as well as making it fun and girly, but to depict that rain. So here I am with the rainbow aperture. I'm picking up on the main colours in my photo, which is the pinks, a spot of yellow, just to brighten and lift the page and coordinate the colours, and some of that pink, just giving it a couple of coats of that shimmery watercolour. I've got that raspberry pink, which makes the tones of the different pinks as match with that umbrella that is quite a big feature in the photo. So I'm just coming with that yellow towards the end, just to lift the colours, add a nice contrast to the pinks and blues. So a couple of coats of that with my watercolour pen, and leave them to dry. So there is cut file with all the pieces of the clouds inside, and also the rainbow sections. Are they rays or arches or arcs? Never quite sure. So I'm coming in there with a Nuvo glue pen. I find this really helpful for sticking cut files down. So just covering that on the back, on a piece of tissue, and then putting that straight flush to the centre of that background pattern paper, that lovely garden party pattern paper. So just making sure that's all in place, patting that down. I've chosen to have that just flush on my page. It's quite a tricky one if I was going to lift it up on 3D foam pads, but I've decided to have that flush on the page, and then you'll see in a few moments how I bring in the clouds and they pop dot from the page. So those last 3 raindrops there on the right, I stuck down and decided I did not want them overlapping the photo, so I quickly lifted them off before it dried. So each of the cloud sections, I'm coming in here and with my paper distresser just going around those edges, just adds a bit more interest and texture. And then we're going to bring some little pop dots onto the back. So once they sit nestled in that outline there of each cloud, they really do add some dimension. The edges of each cloud are slightly curled because of the wet paint on the cardstock, but that really does help lift them from the page. It's quite funny watching me lift all those little pieces of paper off. So there it is. So we've got a pink one going in there as well. I'm not going to make you watch me stick all them down, but you can see how, just continuing with the edge tool, the distressing tool. So they've all got that texture and dimension. And adding the 3D foam onto the back. And pop them back into your puzzle of clouds. So yeah, so I'm just deciding whether to have them flush or pop dotted, but I actually decided to have them flush onto the page. I wanted the clouds to really pop, so I decided that these will just be flush in that outline there. So again, just using the Nuvo glue pen, stick them down into those spaces. Just see the shimmer on that from those watercolour paints. It's nice and delicate, not overpowering or overly glittery or anything, so just a nice sheen. So there are all the colours coming in. I'm just pressing that down with a piece of kitchen towel, just so it doesn't stick back to my fingers. There. I'm thinking here, okay, so I know I want the photo to go there on the right. I know I want some of those raindrops to cascade over my photo. And I'm thinking about whether I actually put more apertures in of the clouds and the white cardstock or not. But I decided to create that sort of 3D effect, so some clouds are more prominent and to the foreground than others. So I come in there with coordinating sort of like a sky blue there, and just paint directly into a couple of those parts where the cutout has come away. That again just creates that sort of dimension of that sort of 3D effect. Some clouds in the background, some in the foreground. And you can see how I've also done a couple there in like a creamy ivory shimmery. So on the blue I decided that actually is a bit too bright with the contrast to the rest, so I'll just come in with a baby white and a little bit of white paint just to dab in and make those clouds fluffy. So there you can see I just actually sneakily snipped off those raindrops, because what I'm going to do is actually position them exactly where I want them afterwards, after that photo is stuck down. So using a bit of 3D foam, and that gives it nice flat backing to a photo. Just nestling that under that pink cloud that's in the centre. Got a little journal piece to the left of the photo, and coming in with some pieces from that ticket paper, that garden party sort of tickets and journal blocks. Just creating like photo corners, oversized photo corners for one of those frames, just to bring in that sort of mauve colour that's within the rainbow and features in this paper. Those greens and pinks and blues and mauves really worked well. So there, I'm just coming with some glue there to stick down the raindrops on top of the photos. Just in a fine tip there. So I've got one of the larger clusters of the raindrops there with just the open centre coming from that main cloud to the left of my photo. So the benefit of snipping them off means you can add them around your photo as you wish, so it doesn't block any of the subjects or any parts of the photo that you really want to make sure are clear from any embellishing. So I decided that we've got the clouds and the raindrops and the everything to the top, like a sky, the grass at the bottom of my photo. I'm going to make a bit of a cluster of flowers to nestle that photo in at the bottom and embellish it, and sort of represent it as if there is a nice flower garden that they're walking down. So just gluing those down so it overlaps the photo, and you can see that adds balance to that top left hand corner and bottom right where the cloud is. So just sticking each of those little fussy cut flowers, again from that garden party range of Maggie Holmes. Just making that one just go slightly under. Again, it's just that it's really good fun, isn't it? I'm sure you all love doing this too, that layering things under photos, on top of photos, and then in each other as well is great fun. So I decided to have the title of Under My Umbrella. I always want to sing that song when we say that now, but was really lucky this fit perfect. Absolutely perfect, this title. So I started off at the edges and made sure the word my was sort of central to that rainbow, and that's from that garden party sticker book. Just where I've got those gaps to the left and right of my, I put the little tiny little stickers in there, and they're like on a clear back sort of vellum, so they're quite a light touch. You see a sneaky bow has crept in there too on one of the clouds. And then at the bottom of the photo next to the flowers again is some clear stickers from that sticker book. But pen work would be equally as lovely, but it just brings again that that black, but quite delicate and fine, that's also of the title. Just coming in there and doing the fun bit, the embellishing. So I decided the raindrops wanted to have a little bit of glitz, but to give it that kind of wet feeling like raindrops would be. So I decided to use sequins because it's got that sheen to it. I've got my sequin tub here. As you can see, this tin of sequins is a crazy mix where you just need to go through and move the sequins about until you find the one you like. I really like keeping them like this rather than in sets if I buy them. I just love that idea of going through a box of a mixture. So some of the larger raindrops here and a couple of the smaller, I'm just painting with the Nuvo glitter glaze. It has a really pretty iridescent sheen to it. Quite fine, the little grains in there, so it's not like Christmas glittery. It's just really delicate, and again represents that sort of sparkly rain. So I'm coming in to do the last bits of some embellishments. I'm doing the sequin and enamel dot shuffle, I think, here. All these little bits and pieces do end up, I think, in a slightly different place than what you see them now. But until they're there, you don't know if you're happy with them or not. So I decided to bring a little bit of colour and layering under that journal block to the left of my photo. Again, just some pieces of that patterned paper, the paper in from that ticket paper. After I've used the yellow, and I think I come in there with the pink as well. Again, just to bring all those colours together. Those chipboard hearts, again from the garden party range. Adds in another texture because it's chipboard, and the white with the black line around it. So we've got a close up there. Really love this layout, and I've really enjoyed being with you today.